Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday and welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro to bring you another interesting guest. And we're finally in here in Miami, seeing a completely beautiful sky in Miami. And with everything that we've been facing with the Hurricane Ian, it's good to finally get a little bit of calm weather in here. And for that, we're gonna have one of our favorite architects here in Miami. His name is Cody Thamann, and he's the CEO and founder of Thamann Architecture Plus Design, which is a Miami-based architecture company that specializes on super high-end residential projects.
Alvaro, how are you?
What's happening, Cody? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Just trying to stay busy.
Well, that's a good thing, right? Busy and productive, which I'm
It
sure
is.
you are at the moment.
We are. We're busy.
I saw you yesterday with a good friend of ours, Gustavo.
Yeah, that was
It's
the first time meeting Gustavo in person. He seems like an awesome guy, so we're looking forward to working with him. So
yeah,
I liked his energy. I like his vibe. So it's a lot of what we work for or look for when we work with people. So it's good.
exactly. Well, thank you for joining us. Obviously, you've been leading the wave of everything that it comes to building all these super high-end properties here in Miami. You are the CEO and founder of Thamann Architecture Plus Design. And I gotta say, the projects that you've been doing look unbelievable. And there is needed to say that a lot of people have been flying into Miami. They wanted to build their new homes. Those that are here, they want to upgrade. And that's why businesses like yours come pretty handy these days, huh?
Yeah, it's great. It's been we're very fortunate. We like that people like our work, and we like that Miami is a culture of people that come here and they look for something that's unique and bespoke and on that luxury side of things. So it's cool, and it's a very interesting time for the city because of this massive influx of people and finance. So it's been fun, and it's been a good time to launch a practice. Fortunately.
So we'll get more into details into the DNA of the brand and the projects that you're currently working on. But obviously, everybody has the same question, right? Is this Miami hype ever going to slow down? How do you see it from an architect standpoint? Do you still get a lot of requests coming in?
We've been getting a lot of requests still coming in, which is good. What I think, I'm seeing two things happen. One of which is there's been people that have seen the increase in pricing and everything from the GC and from the actual building side. And they're saying, hold on, let's wait a little bit, a few months to then wait till these prices come down to a more reasonable dollar amount. And then they're ready to go at that point. So I think what's starting to happen is this second wave of people that have held off for a few months are now starting to say, hey, well, I think now that we're ready to go, we're seeing a cool off a little bit. So now it's becoming more of a time to get started on our project. That's one point. But then the second point is, there's still this weird global unrest type of thing happening. The COVID is still out there. And then you've got a lot of the New Yorkers that are still coming down. So, obviously you've got the Ken Griffins and their team is all coming down here to Florida. So I think with that high end energy and with that finance, those educated individuals that are moving down here, those tech companies as well, that's going to still continue to happen. They're still building infrastructures here that I think Miami probably doesn't even have yet for those kind of large, massive companies. And I think as Miami continues to grow in that aspect to facilitate those companies, I think that demand for these higher end homes is still going to continue.
As you mentioned, makes more sense to build a new home or to buy a property?
There is no definite route ever, but I would say it really just depends on the client. If somebody's in 3,500 square feet now and they want to get up to 4,500 or 5,000 square feet and they already own a property, doing a renovation and an addition is going to be much better for them. But if they're really not happy with where they're at with the location, they want to totally redo their entire home, they're going to redo and gut and redo a 4,500 square feet, add 3,000, 4,000 more square feet. I mean, you're getting to a point that you could buy a new property and move in and do a brand new home. That's going to be financially still a little more expensive, but you're going to be getting exactly what you want as opposed to working around the bones of what was existing previously.
Do you see opportunities like looking into Homestead and some other areas that maybe before they were not as popular?
I think not as much Homestead that I'm aware of that I've seen on our end, but definitely more towards the north a little bit. North Miami Beach, North Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, So somewhere where if you're not on the Venetian Islands and you're not at that price point where it's 20 million just to get a piece of land, you move up to that 6-7 for a plot of land, and you're getting more reasonable, and there's a larger market for that.
Mm-hmm. So as an architect yourself, and with the business obviously with big demand, what have you experienced being one of the most difficult things to deal with?
Starting the practice, it's a lot of coming from hands-on to absolutely everything in an architectural project to now you have that, plus you have running the business side, you have getting the clients, if there's any marketing involved. So you almost take on this second, third, fourth, and fifth job that you need to also roll into, and you have to make sure every one of those is successful. That has probably been the most challenging part. And I think what I've learned from that is just being more trusting in the guys, the team I have around me. It's been a balance of really pushing on all aspects of the business, and then also making sure to delegate and find new ways of creative ways of expediting our processes. If something takes 2 weeks typically, how do we get that down to 1, and how do we systematize it? So those kinds of things that you're transitioning from working on one single project and you're in the thick of the details to, okay, how do we improve on all of our projects and all of our systems? It's more global in thought process.
So how do you end up landing these type of clients? How do you grow your business?
So I think a lot of what we've found now is that, people have come down and they've seen these ultra modern kind of more white box houses. We definitely do very contemporary modern architecture, but I don't like to kind of pigeonhole myself into one specific design style or aesthetic. So if you look at the projects we do, we've done, hyper industrial looking projects, to mid-century looking projects, to Balinese looking, to more traditional looking. They've all got a modern spin on that. But finding ways to pull elements from all these different types of styles and then manipulate it in a way that it becomes super unique and bespoke here in the Miami market.
That's amazing. And would you say that in the next 5 years, what's the vision for Thamann Architecture?
If everything goes well, I would like to expand and get, larger office space, maybe get, 12 to 15 guys, and then branch out a little bit from just single family. I am interested in mid-rise. I don't know about high-rise so much, but maybe some more high-end hotel fit-outs, things like that. So diversifying a little bit, I think, would be good. But for now and for me, what I've always dreamt of is the single family market. I also think expanding outside of the more South Florida market. I think getting over to Tampa, possibly California, I'm dying to get to, New York, the Hamptons, international projects would be amazing. So I think focusing more so on that, but for the time being, I haven't really thought too much that far, but it's like, I want to make sure that the projects that we have ongoing now are as great as they can be. And I think that's naturally going to lead to some additional opportunities.
Unfortunately, what we've been seeing in the last few days with the Hurricane Ian devastating everything that went through those areas, I just saw horrific videos from Naples, Fort Myers, Tampa, and everything through the coast in there that demolished a lot of the houses. So as an architect, is that an opportunity to help out with the renovations and get into that market, or how do you face a situation like this?
I think so. I mean, obviously it's awful. It's, in a storm like that, there's only so much you can do. But I think one of our biggest things is educating the clients. If someone comes to me and they say, well, I want to save every dollar I can. I don't want to raise my floor slab. I don't want to put in new windows. We want to stay below the 50% rule so we don't have to do all those things. There's a certain liability that we have that we say, we could get there, we could do that. But if you look at these natural disasters that happen, we are, one of the beautiful things is we're right at the sea level, and people love that and people come here for that, but it has this natural risk for it. So I think our job as architects is to say, hey, if you do this, if something like this happens, there's going to be massive, massive repercussions. So informing them, raising your floor slabs, doing understories, making sure that we're meeting all the wind loads. So when you see, and I hate to say this, but when you see those homes that are left standing now, those are all typically elevated. They're structurally very strong. They have hurricane impact windows. They have hurricane straps. So there's all these things that the code now requires you to do to withstand that.
For you right now, when you're working with these clients, have you seen a shift in their, demand or on the specs, on how they want things done?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that was the first conversation we had with one of the clients yesterday. They were saying, what is the elevation of our flood zone? How high are we going? We're going here, we're going here. But the it was 145 per hour winds. Well, we're rated for 175. We can go up to 225. So just letting them know that we're doing all the things that we should and can be doing. You know, we've got all the flood vents in the garage, and letting them know that, hey, if you're below flood, that is supposed to be for building access, storage, and parking. So anything that goes down there is meant and can be ruined in a massive storm like this.
Quick question, and just a random one. What's the weirdest or wildest things that a client ever requested you to do?
Right now, we're working on a property. It's a good sized property, but they have a pickleball court on a large portion of the property. So as a result, the house has had to kind of fit along this long, slender piece of the property, whereas, you know, it's a double sized lot, but because you want to have that pickleball court north-south, it really pushes, you know, you can't have the sun in your eyes. So it really pushes the house. So we've got a footprint of the house that has the opportunity to be this long, big, sprawling footprint. And we're now reducing it to the very small. So we're working around, you know, the pickleball court is the project and the house is almost, you know, secondhand.
That's hilarious.
I would say that's probably the most interesting ongoing thing right now.
The question that we always ask all of our guests is about the word luxury. It comes in so many different shapes and forms, but what is it for you?
To me, I would think oasis. So, you know, every day you go out, you use things, you take trains, you ride in cars, all these things that you walk into and you do that are designed and built by other people. And you're just kind of, you know, you have to use those things. When you come to us and you get to build your own home, it's this really special moment in time where you get to create your own personal oasis.
So what's something that you could share with the audience as a takeaway of something that you learned over all these years?
I think, and I don't think I came up with this on my own. I think I naturally is just in my DNA is, I think Musk has said it at one point, but I hate to say don't sleep, but it's, you know, if you've got 40 hours of working time in a week and there's certain expectations that are set, well, if you work 50, if you work 60, you're rapidly increasing your acceleration of times of learning, your input on projects, the people that you're meeting. And I think that's one of the things that maybe to my own health detriment, but, you know, really, really working a lot of long hours and a lot of time and, you know, weekends and things like that. And just fortunately for me, it's a passion of mine. So I enjoy it. So it doesn't really feel like work, but you know, it's hard to tell someone to do that on something they're not passionate about. But if you have something you're truly passionate about, I would say just work at it time and just getting as much time as you can in something, learning as much as you can. I think that's going to elevate you a lot quicker than, you know, if you kind of just go the status quo and wait for things to crop up.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's fantastic. And I love it because we also refer to the same thing. It's like, okay, they might outplay you or whatever, but outwork you is something that you can control. It's like, okay, I'm going to work more than anybody else. The key is to make sure that within that angle of outworking people, you're starting to outsmarting people. You start to do
right.
things
It's got to be
smart.
effective.
Otherwise you're just like pounding yourself.
You're just spinning wheels.
Direction.
Yes.
But work usually leads to failures. With failures lead to experiences, lessons, and therefore growth. So I do believe that the more work that you put into, the more of those failures that you'll have and the more successes that you'll get over time. So I agree with you, and it was, you know, a pleasure having this conversation with you. You are a very
Thank
sharp
you for
guy,
having me on.
Very successful
I appreciate
in what
that.
you do. So big fans, and obviously if we can help you achieve your vision of the next 5 years, we're here for you. And for those watching or listening now or later, please follow Cody and the Thamann Architecture team. That, you know, I love to see all the posts because to see those beautiful properties is just inspiring. I actually live right in front of Star Island, so every time I wake up, first thing I do is, you know, I aim and I look at the property and it's like manifestation. That's going to be my home. So this is like an easier way to manifest something daily, just to go into Cody's page and just look at all these beautiful homes and be like, one day I'll build my own oasis.
Well, when you get that one on Star, I better be the only one you call, all right?
There you go. Let's make it happen. All right, Cody. Well, anything else that you would like to share before we wrap this up?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank you again, Cody. Wishing you best of luck, and I'm sure we'll get together at some point here in Miami.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.